Hey, good evening. Nice to have you along. It's Thursday night to you. It's Wednesday night to me, and I'm a little stressed. Right now, the Yankees are batting in the bottom of the ninth in Game 1, which was yesterday. So I'm very nervous, and I might not be able to focus on the subject matter at hand exceptionally well. Our two guests certainly can. But I told Rattay, hey, Bob, would you let the guys know the director? Michael, you're listening. I hope you're listening. You're directing the damn show. Would you buzz Rattay in the sports office? Will you tell him to come out here and let me know right now what's going on in that game? We don't have a monitor that we could switch over, do we?
I don't think so.
All right, because I'm really kind of pumped up. I mean, this is it's been a long time for us Yankee fans. And, last night, see, after we taped this show, Rattay's coming in to tape another show, which you saw last night. You got that? And he's going to argue with me about the kid who went over the wall that I just saw that tied up the game. And I don't think the thing was catchable. And it should have been a ground rule double. And then there was a base hit after that. It would have scored. It would have been 4 anyway. So I don't know what all the fuss is about. I'm guessing in today's paper, which is Wednesday, not today's paper for me, but today's paper for you, that there was a lot of controversy over that. You following me? If you think I'm confusing, wait till you hear the thing we're going to talk about. This is really weird. Where's my thing? Oh, what up?
Bottom of the ninth, Yankees 2 men on.
Yankees 2 men on, bottom of the ninth?
Yeah. Probably gonna win it.
Probably gonna win it? How many out?
1 out.
Can you come back and tell me what happened?
I'll let you know.
All right, then you're gonna come back and do another show with me, right?
We are.
All right, you loser. All right.
They just went into a double play to end the ninth.
Double play into the ninth?
4-4.
All right, well, I can, oh, damn. Well, I can relax for a couple minutes. All right. Is that Rattay coming back? Do I hear him coming back? Is he coming back? Oh. Peter, you're an animal advocate.
Yes.
You're an animal killer.
By state law.
By law. Hey, everybody's got a job to do. But you walk around with these suckers.
Not very often.
And
This trap's only legal in the month of November.
so in a few weeks, it's legal.
That's
To
correct.
trap coyotes.
Coyotes.
All right.
There
We'll
was
hear
a
about
story
that later.
done. There was a story done by Channel 40.
I don't even want to hear it. What is this?
That's a conibear. 110 conibear for muskrat.
A 110.
That's correct. They're different sizes.
All right, beautiful. You know what we're doing here? We're debating question 1. You say to yourself, what is question 1? That's what I said to myself last week, is changing the trapping and hunting laws. And Pete, you are a co-writer amongst many who put this piece of legislation together, went out, got the petition signed, and put it on the docket for the November ballot, correct?
Roughly speaking, no. I was one of the original 10 signers of the petition, the ballot petition.
But you're a mover and shaker on this issue, we can say that.
Well, I've been very active in getting it to the ballot.
All right, now, there are 3 parts to this. One has to do with what you can do to trap animals. A second has to do with hunting bobcats and bears. And the third has to do with the wildlife board and who gets on it and hunters and that kind of thing. I don't know that we're going to get to stages 2 and 3 of this tonight. We may have to do another show. God, I hope not, on that subject matter. But the most important thing, or I think is gripping, maybe not the most important, but the thing that grips people and they can understand is this whole notion of trapping animals. Now, there are 2 types of trapping animals, I'm guessing. Those who do it for sport.
That's correct.
And those who do it as problem animal controllers. Steve is licensed by the state to do this, and it runs its own company that you can call if you got a raccoon in your house, something like that.
That's correct.
Okay. On the subject of hunting and trapping animals, the point is what?
Well, as far as the bear and bobcat hunting that we're trying to deal with, and the second point of this question is that we feel that it is the height of unfair advantage to be able to use dogs in the hunting of bears and bobcats.
Well, that's the second part, right?
Right.
You just jumped ahead of me.
Okay, I thought you had mentioned what.
But all right, but go ahead, cover that, and we'll be done with it.
Okay, and we feel
You're not
that
going to argue that, are you? Using dogs for bears and bobcats? Who cares?
running them up a tree.
I can argue in the defense of the hunters. I don't know how you hunt bears efficiently without dogs in this state. We don't have the open fields that they have out west where you can stand and shoot a bear at a quarter of a mile away or a half a mile away. We don't have that in this state.
So they use dogs to hunt bears, and you think that's wrong?
Well, yeah, we feel that it's extremely unsporting, and there are states...
Unfair to who? I'm sorry for giggling, but sometimes this stuff makes me laugh. Unfair to who?
It's unsporting.
Unsporting? What the hell does that mean, unsporting?
Well, it's what you're doing is taking what's already an advantage of the human over the bear with the use of...
Oh, so it's unfair for the bear, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I thought maybe it was unfair for the dog.
Well, there's been, you know...
It's dangerous for the dog.
Absolutely.
Hunting bear.
Right.
And the reason why men bring dogs is because they can't do it themselves.
Well, the dog's used for tracking. Tracking the bear.
More than
I got
tracking,
no
what they
empathy
do.
for hunters. I think most of them have challenges with their male psyche anyway.
If you're a farmer or a resident in the greater Northampton area, they've had an outstanding number of bear complaint calls. And bear hunters are the ways that the state does it, without tax dollars involved here, folks, to control the bear populations. Now, my question would be, what are these animal rights people going to do about stopping some of these bear complaints? I mean, by all means, my company would be more than willing to step into the gap and charge the state to solve this particular
Well, you ain't
problem.
going to trap a bear with this sucker, I'll tell you that
No,
much.
we wouldn't
And
be charging
fortunately, leg hold traps for bears have been outlawed.
That's correct. For a very long time.
For over a century, I guess.
All right, so that's that issue. I mean, you know, bears, cats, dogs.
Well, it should be pointed out that Pennsylvania, he mentioned the problem with bears and how efficient it is to hunt bears with dogs. Pennsylvania just had an incredibly successful, from the hunter's point of view, not so much for the bear. They just had a successful bear hunt this past year. 2,000 bears were taken. This in a state that does not allow the use of dogs.
And they got a lot
How
of
about
woods in
baiting?
Pennsylvania.
Do they allow baiting?
It's my understanding that these were...
What's baiting?
Well, you put some bait out in the middle of the field and stand
bunch
up in
of
a
jelly
tree
donuts.
and you just wait for them to come. But also
About
you
a
have to
bunch of
remember,
jelly donuts, and then
You know,
plug
you
them.
know,
Pennsylvania has a number of more
something.
bear hunters.
I
than we do.
got to tell you something. We get to the first part of the question and the raccoons and the traps. I don't have much sympathy for Pete over here. But on this second
Or the
issue...
raccoons.
Or the raccoons, for that matter. But I got to tell you, on the second issue, is that what bear hunting's all about? You go out, you throw some donuts in the field, you watch those stupid
illegal
bears
in
go
this
out, and then
state.
you blow them away?
That's illegal in this state.
Oh, you can't do
Bear
that.
baiting's been outlawed since, what, 73?
It's not outlawed. There's a regulatory prohibition. We already went over that on the radio show.
Well,
Regulatory meaning that is an administrative decision. Statutory would mean it's not lawful.
That is correct. It is at the division's whim, the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife.
whim
It
is a bit much.
All they have to do is decide.
But they decide for particular reasons. At recommendation by the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, these aren't just arbitrary people up there like the fates deciding one way or the other by the flip of a coin.
No, it's a board consisting of a supermajority of hunters, fishers, and trappers. It
Well,
seems to
Which
me
leads
that-
to the third question, who's on that board? Well, let's
Right.
just cover all this right now. In fact, we'll be right back. We'll cover the board thing, and then we'll get the whole thing all, and we'll do 2 segments on whether or not you ought to pay an arm and a leg for a raccoon, because he gets all wimpy about it. Stay with us.
Why should your family choose Remillard Insurance? There are many reasons. Remillard finds new ways to save on your insurance without compromising your coverage. We've been a reputable insurance agency for over 40 years. We offer fast claim service with no hassles and free registry service. I'm sure you'll notice the difference with Remillard Insurance. Give us a chance. Our family would love to be your family's insurance agent.
We're Remillard Insurance. Put your confidence in us.
I grew up in a blue-collar family right here in Western Massachusetts. I'm Alan Goodman. My parents never went to college. They taught me not to be afraid of hard work. As your attorney, I'll take the time to talk with you personally, and I'll go the distance to protect your rights. So you've been injured and want a lawyer who's close to home. Ask your neighbors, your doctor, even other attorneys who they would recommend. I work hard, I fight hard, and I get results. I'm Alan Goodman.
Springfield Auto Mall, Western Massachusetts' largest used car inventory, is a full-service facility. Choose from over 200 cars, including a huge selection of family cars and luxury sedans. Or maybe a sport utility vehicle is more your speed. Whatever the car, Springfield Auto Mall's got it.
This week, get a great deal on a 92 Ford Aerostar 7-passenger V6, only $99.50, or a 93 Ford Explorer 4-wheel drive, just $13,950.
Staff today at Springfield Auto Mall.
What better place than an NFL game to ask people about the taste of Wheaties, the breakfast of champions?
Well, you can really taste the whole wheat.
I like it. I like the taste. They've got a toasted whole wheat flavor.
Can I have another bite?
These have got a crunchy, toasted taste to them.
I'm gonna run home and buy a box of Wheaties for me and my kids.
Try the championship taste of toasted whole wheat Wheaties. Now, for a limited time, you can score by collecting all 3 Wheaties All Pro boxes.
You better eat your Wheaties.
Hey, that's my line.
And the third part of a question happens to be the thing about the board. Who's on the board of wildlife and fisheries and wildlife? Well, who's on that board right now?
I mean, their names?
No, the kind of people that are on the board.
People who've had a sporting license for at least 5 years. And
Consecutive.
Then consecutive 5 years, and they also have to have knowledge about the fish and wildlife, and there has to be at least one farmer.
Gotta be a farmer.
Gotta be at least one farmer.
Farmer on the board, the farmer, sorry. And you're proposing what with the question?
Well, first of all, he had mentioned that they have to be knowledgeable. There is one position where knowledge is required. There's one, the requirement as it exists now, there must be at least one wildlife biologist, and that's in terms of knowledgeable knowledge. That's the only person it's really mandated to have any sort of knowledge.
And what do you want?
The remaining 5 of the hunters, fishers, and trappers that are mandated to be on the board don't really need to know much of anything, except if the one requirement is to be a hunter and had held a sporting license for 5 years. That just means that you know how to fill out a hunting license form.
Right. The proposed law would eliminate the requirement that 5 members of the State Fisheries and Wildlife Board have held sporting licenses in the state for 5 consecutive years.
Which constitutes a supermajority, by the way.
Of hunter mindseted people, and you
absolutely.
Think so they load up against the bear or any other issue that's going on.
Right, and that's why we see, and in fact, most of the people are not aware. I myself, until I started attending some of these division and public hearings, I'd been told, listen, we got to hunt deer. You know, they're overpopulating the state. We've got deer car collisions. We've got crop damage, et cetera. We got to save them from starving. At this hearing, it turned out 10 of the 12 hunting regions in this state, the division intends to increase the deer herd size. Now, that to me was just staggering. In particular, this was a public hearing. I stood up and said, I'm sorry, I've been told that we're doing this for the deer, otherwise they would starve, and here it is, you want to increase in some of the hunting. There was no, it is not allowed to have any sort of a dialogue.
Oh, that's right,
board.
you just submit your testimony and that's
it. But in some of the hunting regions, they wanted to double the deer population.
Now. So what you're saying
that's
is
outrageous.
You want who do you want on the board? What would your perfect composite be?
The only requirement I believe is knowledge of the different requirements of game and non-game species.
How do we assess that?
A college education is certainly a place to start.
This is an appointed board, correct?
Yes, appointed by the governor.
By the governor. So you want the governor to make you want the governor to have a wider variety of people on the board so that there's no monopoly of hunters on the board, so that the disposition of the board comes down a little bit more, how would you say, everymanish. Is that correct? Is that what you want us to see?
Well, considering how less than 3% of the state's population hunts, we feel that it's a gross representation of a minority viewpoint, and the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife is the assemblage that decides how the state's wildlife.
That's that issue, and I think forget it, Steve. I mean, I want to get to your traps.
Great.
I want him to talk now. When we come back, stay with us.
Great monsters in history. First there were the dinosaurs, then fire-breathing dragons, and even Bigfoot. But now the greatest monster of them all, Bernie's Monster Sale. The biggest, the baddest, the sale that has the competition running scared in the streets, and who can blame them? You'll get gargantuan monster-sized savings on America's top brand appliances and home and mobile electronics. In fact, here's some really scary savings right here. Buy an RCA 27-inch stereo TV for $279, or the Whirlpool self-cleaning range for $357 during the Monster Sale, playing Saturday at a Bernie's near you.
Congratulations to a Best of the Valley winner. La Cucina di Pinocchio voted #1 restaurant in 10 different categories, including Best Italian Restaurant in the Valley. Winning more awards than any restaurant, it's La Cucina di Pinocchio in Amherst.
What's so good about the taste of apple cinnamon Cheerios?
It's an apple thing, right?
Definitely the cinnamon. No way, it's the baked-in taste.
Sliced apples, cinnamon, and brown sugar baked right into every little O of apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Baked-in taste, that's what makes them good.
Have you tried multigrain Cheerios?
I did that multi-grain thing back in the 70s. I don't want to do it again. I like them. Low fat.
No flavor.
These are very good. I like it. It's a 90s kind of thing.
A cereal is only as satisfying as the good things that go into it. Whole grain oats, bushels of almonds, sun-ripened fruit. These are the good things you'll find in Oatmeal Crisp. A breakfast cereal made with the hearty goodness of whole grain oats for a more satisfying oatmeal taste. Oatmeal Crisp, a hearty, satisfying cereal.
Mass Cash, Mass Millions, Megabucks. Live lottery is only on the News 40 Nightcast. Where you get your lottery results are as important as the numbers you play. Only News 40 brings you the lottery live. No wait, no worry. Lottery live only on the News 40 Nightcast.
Okay, here's the real meaty, beady, big and bouncy. Here's the issue that we're really focused on, and that is trapping animals. Now let's take the hunting, trapping, and move that aside. Let's talk about what you do in a commercial venue, and that is when I got a raccoon in my tree and I don't want it coming down and nipping at my 20-month-old baby, or it's in the attic, or it's running around in a garbage can in my garage, I want that sucker out of there. And I call you a problem animal controller.
That's correct.
And your business is Wildlife Removal Service, and it's in the book. Okay. Now, if I call you, you come over and you do what to my raccoon?
Well, depending
you kill it.
My state, well, I don't have it if I can capture the animal and release it, but it must be released on property. There's no relocation allowed in this state.
So I don't want you relocating on my... I'm not going to pay you to come get it out of my attic and let it out in my backyard.
Then the animal must be destroyed then.
This customer?
Certainly, I'll let it go on your property.
Yeah.
State law.
And how many customers say, hey, Steve, come on over and charge me an arm and a leg? No pun intended with the traps and everything.
Ooh.
And, but I like that one. You charge me, you know.
The vast majority of the time, it's not feasible to release
unless I got 42 acres in the wilderness, and that's another story.
Well, even then, I mean, the raccoon can simply come back or
right.
that sort of thing, but it's not feasible.
All right, now, for the average raccoon, it costs me what to have you trap them? And oh, by the way, you should know Massachusetts state law does not, like he said, I want you to focus on this, you can't let them go somewhere. So the only alternative, you bring them to a freezer, and when your freezer's full, you cremate them, right?
That's correct.
What's the matter, Pete? Are you going to cry?
No, it's just
like
a freezer full of dead animal parts. It's kind of a...
Well, I think it's safer. I think it's safer than throwing them in the trash can so that maybe some garbage man is going to get exposed to it. I think this is pretty responsible.
Don't you? I mean,
yeah, it's just such a morbid, you know,
what,
visual
killing animals?
imagery. No, a freezer full of his victims. It's...
Well, it is morbid. I mean, it's not. I'll give you that one.
Oh.
I just thought you were...
I had to earn that.
I thought you were being overcome or something, and I just don't want that to happen. All right, so I got a raccoon, he's in my attic. You come up and you use one of these, sort of, this is a muskrat trap, right?
It would be a bigger size. I mean, I could use it. The majority of the time, the regulations are so restrictive, we could only use these inside of a building. Inside, not outside.
All right,
or underwater. So, majority of the time, I would have to use a box trap.
In my pool.
Right, well, it wouldn't be. But I mean, the majority of the time, we're using box traps. However, this law makes no provision for allowing a professional like myself to make a decision to say this is a good spot to use a conibear. What they're saying is this trap is banned, and if I find that I can't catch the raccoon, then I have to petition the state, and hopefully they'll grant me permission to use this conibear. However, I can't even possess this trap.
I should have said, I made it clear that the issue here is whether he can legally use traps or not. The traps that he uses now that are legal now, this this question would eliminate those traps and would go to a more, quote, humane method of trapping the animals,
as a
like
first
a box
line,
trap.
as a first line of defense.
Okay. However, a box trap versus if you got to wait a while sometimes for a raccoon don't come out.
Some raccoons are trap-wise. They won't walk into
And
them.
you're going to charge me by the hour.
No, I charge by the animal. Once this law passes, I'll probably charge by the day. Because I'm required by law to show up on your property every single day to personally check traps.
That's before the law and after the law, correct?
Before the law and after the law. I'm required by law to check the traps every day.
Okay.
Every day, not Saturdays,
Oh, you mean
Sundays,
you leave the traps, and then when I hear upstairs, then I know you got them.
Perhaps many of my customers don't even hear the trap go off.
Okay, but you charge. What's the average cost to get a raccoon out of my attic?
For any town bordering Springfield, including Springfield, it's $50 to set up, $50 a raccoon.
All right. What will change if you got to box trap them?
Box trap everything.
Everything.
Well, then probably I'll start charging by the day.
Which means what?
Well, it may be that I catch the animal very quickly or not, because I may not be able, because I'm restricted.
So if it's 4 days, it could cost me 4 times the amount of money that it would cost me to do it on a
Well, I think
regular
4 times is a bit much. I think after the first week, we'd have to keep reassessing setup fees.
I'm sorry, Steve, I don't understand. Is it that you start charging per day, given that you have to, under the current law, you have to come once a day to check your conibear, and under the proposed law, you have to come once a day? Why are you charging by the day?
Why would I start charging by the day? Because what it's doing is it's arbitrarily reducing the options to me as a professional decide how to handle this particular job.
But you do the setup once, you balance your box trap, or in the scenario you were painting, or set it up inside of a hole, and that's it. That's your work. And then once a day.
That sounds very idealistic and very wonderful.
Well, I'm asking to
that's simply not going to work.
Okay, so you're telling me that you're going to have to set up more than once per trap under the proposed law.
No, I'll have to charge the setup fee more after. If I'm having a raccoon bypassing my box traps, I may have to wait 2 or 3 weeks before I can then petition the state saying, can I use a conibear? Where before, I might have been able to use a conibear right off the bat, put it right over the vent, raccoon walks through, boom, it's over.
Snap.
It's over.
Done.
Ideally,
in 2 days. I could be done in 2 days. And meanwhile, customers, if I can't catch this animal with my box trap, then the point is it's going to the bathroom more often in your house. It's doing more damage to your house, possibly chewing a wire.
Yeah, by the way, it's those kinds of events that the director of the fishery, the director of the Board of Fisheries and Wildlife would hear this sort of damage being done and say, I'm going to issue a permit right now for one of the prohibited traps. And so don't get the feeling.
First of all, this trap's banned outright. First of all, this trap's banned outright. It will never be allowed.
Where are the consumers' rights in this whole issue? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Can you guess which cereal will now carry the American Heart Association symbol? The answer shouldn't surprise you. It's Cheerios. A diet low in saturated fat and cholesterol, including Cheerios, may help reduce the risk of heart disease. This Cheerios, made from whole grain oats, is also a good source of fiber. And those delicious O's are low in fat and saturated fat with no cholesterol. No wonder Cheerios carries the American Heart Association symbol.
The game of dollars and cents is much easier when you've got the Money Stop on your board. Life is filled with the unexpected roll of the dice. So when you need money fast, head for the Money Stop in Springfield. At the Money Stop, we offer all kinds of loans, big and small. There's no credit check and no waiting in long lines. Plus a convenient location with free parking. It's cash on the spot, whatever amount you need. So whatever the throw of the dice, when you need money fast, make sure you land at the Money Stop, Main Street, Springfield. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
How'd you like the play?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was terrific. We loved it. We'd see it again.
Loved every minute of it.
Hello, I'm Robert Wagner.
And I'm Jill St. John.
We're going to be coming to Springfield's Symphony Hall.
We're going to be appearing in the Broadway hit play, Love Letters.
By A.R. Gurney. And we'd love to have you come and see us.
We would.
Spend an evening with Robert Wagner and Jill St. John at Symphony Hall, Saturday, October 26th.
No matter where you go in the Pioneer Valley, you won't find a better deal than Bernie's. Not Sears, Leechmere, or Circuit City. For the best deal, go to Wilbraham Road, corner of Parker and Springfield, and walk into Bernie's.
Mass cash, mass millions, megabucks. Live lottery is only on the News 40 Nightcast. It's a game of chance, but don't chance where you get your lottery results. Get them live as they happen on the News 40 Nightcast. No wait, no worry. Live lottery only on the News 40 Night. The Dan Yorke Show on News 40 is brought to you by
Remillard Insurance. Put your confidence in us.
Oh, very nice. These guys are yelling at me during a break that we don't have enough time, blah, 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 blah. You think you guys can fill 20 more minutes?
Sure. Easy.
You guys in the crew want to carry this conversation over for the Friday show and we'll just get this whole thing wrapped up in one fell swoop? Yes?
I hear one.
And I can still do the Wednesday show? All right, you guys are on for a whole nother show. What's the ugly dog picture for it, Pete?
Actually, the dog used to be rather attractive until a beaver conibear trap got a hold of his face.
Sure. How pleasant is that?
I'll be able to respond to that photograph, right?
Yeah, you can respond. I've lost complete focus on whatever the hell it is that we were doing here.
Well, first of all, the problem with the photograph is who owned the trap?
I have no idea.
Well, the reason you have no idea because it doesn't have a trap tag required by law to be on that trap.
And that tag would prevent this kind of heinous damage done to this face.
No, what the trap tag would do is find out if it was a legally set trap.
In my mind, this is a legal trap. So I don't see how a tag is going to prevent this.
Give me that thing.
What you're saying is...
You guys want to freeze that? Oh, we only have a minute left. We'll talk about the trap tomorrow. The bottom line, for those of you who can't watch the show tomorrow, where is my camera? This show, I've lost control of this show. These guys are crazy. The bottom line on this show is, I mean, there's some people out there who take this issue semi-seriously, and I'm trying to get you focused here. The question one is a multifaceted, ridiculous question. I don't know how the hell it got on the ballot. It shouldn't be so complex.
It was the most successful ballot question in the history of the Commonwealth.
Well, not until it gets voted in.
No, but more people signed this than any other ballot question in the entire history.
That and a quarter gets your cup of coffee.
Not even.
Passed. Nobody knows what this stuff means.
Oh, that's why we're here.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get a little bit... When we come back tomorrow night, which means in 5 minutes for you, that's like the game shows. You think they're coming back the next day? No, they just repeat. You know, they tape 4 in advance. You didn't know that? See, I just taught you something about television. Can we get focused when we come back?
Can I criticize the picture?
Right off the bat.
Wonderful.
I'm sure people...
Uninterrupted.
People aren't going to be able to sleep until tomorrow night at midnight. More of this tomorrow night. Question 1. That's Friday.